How y'all doing this Wednesday afternoon / evening, I guess you could call it, because the sun's starting to go down a little bit. But hey, as you can see, they came in today and they trimmed out all the upper underbrush and everything else. They cleaned a lot of that lot out. Even going this way, of course there's still some over in here that they didn't clean out, but it's alright. Most of it's cleaned out. I guess they're trying to push to have this lot sold before the end of the year, which everybody that comes looking at it, I tell them, you know, you're going to spend a lot of money to level the place out to keep it from flooding, and plus on top of it, if you don't, you're going to need pontoons on whatever you put on that property, because half the property's underwater if we get a heavier rain, which I'm not lying, I'm telling the truth. But the good side of it is, if nobody buys it anytime soon, after we do our taxes this year, I'm going to take a portion of our tax money. I'm going to go down to the people who own the property, and I'm going to say, I'm not going to give you what you're asking. I'm going to nickel and dime you down as much as I can, and I'm basically I'm just going to say, hey, what's the least you'll take, because I know you paid this much for the property. So let's cut some heads and, you know, try to get to equal ground. And if I can, I'll put a few grand down and, you know, do like a down payment and, you know, do monthly payments. Now, I don't like doing it that way, but if I can get that piece of ground for a reasonable price for a piece of property, now it would take me a couple years to clear it the way I want to do it, and plus it'll take me a little bit on top of that to put a retainer wall to keep it from flooding. And then of course, you know, there's all kinds of people, contractors, that need dirt being removed. I just tell them, hey, come in here, dump it in here, and, you know, pack it down. Well, I could dump it and I'll pack it down, or find a way to pack it down, and then, you know, that way I can, you know, do what I want to do with it, and everything be hunky-dory. Of course, then my property tax will go up, but, you know, it'd be worth it in my part, because I could have, you know, a structure over there, I could have a large garden, I could have a few trees over there that produces fruit. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of things I could do with it. And but yeah, that's my goal for 2021. Hopefully nobody buys it between now and then, and if they do, you know, it is what it is. But in the back lot, Dan, you were right. Somebody bought that back lot, and they was in there this evening or this afternoon, and that place it's as smooth as a baby's ass back there. They cut everything out, and it really sucked on my part, because the ground for the past few weeks was so damn hard, like concrete. We got some rain in the other day, and I thought, well, as soon as it quits raining and the ground's not slippery, it's like snot, I'm gonna go back there with my shovel. I'm gonna dig up some of those blackberry plants and put them up in my yard. Wrong. I got up this morning, my old son's like, he goes, they're back there clearing off that back lot again. They're taking it down even more so. They did. It's okay. You know, there's still plenty of other things around. If I get bees, I can still go around and get everything else. But here's the good part about them clearing that back lot. They took out like 5 or 6 large trees, and they just stacked them up there. And the guy was back there clearing it this afternoon. I asked him, I said, I know y'all gonna, you know, gotta find a way to get these trees out of here which way you can. I said, would you mind if I brought my chainsaw up here and cut up a bunch of these so I could stack it for firewood? And he said, I don't care if you do or not. He said, but it's not my property. I can't say yay or nay. And he said, I'll call my boss, and before I leave, I'll let you know. I said, okay. So we were sitting there, and I was talking to one of the neighbors this afternoon before the guy left. He kind of pulled up beside me. He goes, hey, I called my boss and told him what you asked me, and he said, I don't care, you know, like in third person term. I don't care if you cut them up, you know, that just means that's less we have to deal with in the process of, you know, getting rid of it. I said, okay. So sometime between now and Friday, I'm going to spend a good portion of my time up there sawing trees up And a lot of the tops of them, if the branches are the size of this Gatorade bottle, which this is a 12-ounce bottle, it's a small Gatorade bottle, but if the branches are about that big around, I'm going to saw those up in small chunk form, and the bigger pieces of wood, like trunk wise, I'm gonna cut them 12 to 14 inches in length in like block form, and then bring them back down here, because sometime this week or next week my stepdad's bringing over a log splitter from some of the stuff I have out here over the summer, and we're going to split that up, and then wherever I get back there I can split up the two, stick off to the side, tarp it real good, and let it season. Now there's a bunch of wild cherry back there. There's he said wild cherry, sassafras, and maple, and something else. Now around here a lot of people don't want to burn that, but I know people that that do use a wood stove, and they will come and get this just because I mean, if I do sell it, it's going to be so damn cheap, it's not even going to be funny. I'm not going to be giving it away, but it's going to be, priced really cheap, and I'll make some money off of it. Why not? Because it's going to cost me money to run the chainsaw along with the oil, bar oil, so I gotta make a little bit off something. And of course, I'm not gonna charge a crazy ass price for it either, because it's considered a second grade wood. But the good thing about it is, if I do split it and I stack it, and somebody needs some good green wood, there you go. Because it's funny, because not too long ago, one of the guys I knew just bought a new wood stove for his place, and he's looking for all season wood, which that's normal. And I told him, I said, you also need a few good chunks of green wood. And he's like, why the hell do I want to burn green wood for? He said, that stuff takes so long to burn. It sits there most of the time, and it doesn't do much, and not like seasoned wood. And I said, well, you get your stove at nighttime before you go to bed. You throw in 2 or 3 pieces of that green wood, and it'll burn pretty much all night long. And so that way in the morning you'll have your bed of coals. You scrape out your ash, and then you put your other stuff in there on top of them coals, and there you go. Easy peasy. And I said, then on top of it, you don't have to burn up all your seasoned wood at nighttime. And he was like, well, how do you know about that? I said, well, because that's what my grandparents did when they were a little younger. When they lived on the farmhouse, at nighttime they threw green logs on the fireplace. See, I retained stuff my grandparents taught me a long time ago. I'm 47 years old, and I still remember it. Some things I'm not too memorable on, but other things I can remember things like it was yesterday. But I'm gonna be cutting them sections, those trees up back there, which it's gonna take me. It'll keep me busy. I'm not gonna lie, it'll keep me busy. Some of them, there is a couple of trees that are like real big around that my chainsaw is just too small to cut them trunks. But I'm definitely gonna cut the top pieces, like the large branches and things like that. Like I said, the size of that bottle form, I'll cut all that up as much as possible. But yeah, I mean, you can't, it's free. I mean, if I can cut it, bring it, 300 steps down the driveway and put it in my yard, stack it up until I can split it or get it split later on, why not? Because that was like one of my goals this year. I was hoping to have a decent sized trailer so I could cruise around the neighborhoods where I grew up at, because they have people over there all the time cutting out trees and cutting down trees and I was actually going to go down the roadway and look for people cut down trees and pick up chunks of wood and load it in the trailer and bring it back to the house. So that way, you know, I can make a pile of it. I can do my own splitting and everything else. Now, I don't have a trailer, but I plan on getting one this coming year on top of a few other things for the yard. And the reason why I'm always cleaning my yard is because I've lived here for a little over 10 years, and probably 8.5 years of living here, I've really neglected my yard. I've been lazy, and I do basic minimum things, but I still need to do a lot of work. I want it to be where somebody comes over to my house, pulls in the driveway, and they're not going, "My God, Jed Clampett lives here," you know, because that's what my yard's looked like for a long time. And I've always been, it's like I had blinders on when I looked at the yard. I mean, I saw what's in front of me, but I didn't pay attention to what's on the sides of me. So I've really kind of, you know, dropped the ball of having a really nice looking yard. But at the same time, I don't want, the Better Homes and Garden yard. I mean, I would like to have one to a point, but yeah, with me having, grapevines and blackberry plants and blueberries and fruit trees and elderberries and all the stuff around the yard, to me, I would much rather have all that than pretty flowers and shrubbery and your grass that looks like a golf course green. I mean, I'm just not that kind of person. I know people that are, more power for you, but I want my yard to be like a food producer. And you can't have your yard looking like a giant garden and be on Better Homes and Garden. But there's a lot of things I have neglected because I do recycle a lot of things. And I have piles of scrap metal here and there, and bags of aluminum cans because I save all my stuff for almost a year before I turn it in. And I would like to take some of the sections of privacy fence that I have by putting them back there in the goat pen, and basically I guess made like I call it a cubby hole, but just have like two walls and a back piece and stack everything inside there, and maybe put like some kind of little gate in front of it or something to where it looks like a giant compost bin or something, but just keep it to where it's like the eyesore, it's out of the yard. And there's a lot of things I want to do, but I'm limited on what I can get done. And then on top of it, my kids are lazy. I ask them for help, and they'll come out there and they'll do about 15 minutes of half-ass work and whine and cry and complain. I get tired of hearing it. I just tell them to leave, just go, leave me alone. So yeah, that's usually how it ends with me. So, and I don't want to pay somebody to come in and do what I can do, but I guess here for too long it might have to come to that. The joys of having kids. But anyway, it's almost dark, and I still have to go light my burn barrel and feed my goats and find the dog's tray so I can feed him. And yeah, so I guess I'm gonna call it, and y'all have a great Wednesday afternoon, evening, or night, however you want to call it. And I'll probably tomorrow. See, tomorrow's they got school, so yeah, probably tomorrow when they're in school, I'm gonna go back there, and I'm gonna oversee a bunch of the tree pieces they have back there and look at what I can cut, what I can't cut. And I'll be sure and take my tripod that I'm shaking with my hand with my camera. We'll go back there and we'll stand there, and I'll talk about some shit, and I'll kind of panorama around a little bit and let you see what they done and everything else. Oh, they did drop a big old lawn of gravel across the roadway finally, which the bad side of that is, and I'll tell you this before I get off here, the driveway comes off the road of the slope, and it goes flat, and then after it goes flat, it kind of comes up a little bit like this. Well, where the flat part of the slope is where they dumped a lot of gravel, and the bad part of that is when it rains really heavy and this lot floods, all the water comes across that part of the roadway and it washes all the gravel out. Me and the guy named Donnie, listen, catty corner from me from where I've lived at, me and him have dumped so much gravel on this roadway out here to fill holes, and every time it rains heavy, it washes away. We've even taken sackcrete, poured it in the holes, lightly watered it toward it like kind of formed a concrete base in the hole of the gravel road, and over a period of time, yeah, they disappear too. So, I mean, and like I told the guy when they had the guy was back here clearing it, I told him, I said, the only way you're going to fix that is you come in here with a great big ass rake of some kinds, and you grade out the road, and then you take out this little bitty culvert pipe. It's not this big around, but it's like a 12-inch pipe that goes across the roadway. It's too small for what the purpose of it is. And I said, you take that little pipe out, you put a great big ass culvert pipe in, and then you fill up the roadway, raise it up about 1.5 to 2 foot, throw some heavy rock on the sides of it, and then put light rock on the top of that. Then you'll fix the problem. I said, but you're just wasting money dumping this gravel out here, because within a few good heavy rains, it's washing out and it's going down across people's yards. And I know, and I told him, I said, you gotta think I've lived here for almost 10 years, a little over 10 years. I know what's going on. I know what the shit does. So, but anyway, y'all have a great night. It's almost sundown. I'm getting kind of fuzzy. I got my glasses on, but I can tell I'm getting kind of fuzzy. But I will see y'all again soon, and have a great night. See ya.